All right. We are live. Welcome, everybody, to the weekly Probate Mastery group coaching call on the Estate Professionals Mastermind podcast. For anyone who looked for last week's call, after I think 6 years, Kat deserved a day off. It was her birthday last week, so she took some time, had some friends in from in Florida, and that's being processed. She's working on that today. So this week, expect a kind of a heavy content load. We've got last week's call recap. Obviously, this one will be later in the week, and some other exciting interviews that we've done as part of our Ask the Expert series. So anybody have anything that they need help with? Any wins you want to share? Challenges?
I got some. I mean, might as well, right?
What do you got, Fed?
The win is I'm in the middle of a 1031 exchange, and a client of mine that I've been working. So I've been in escrow for a year for a condo, believe it or not. Whatever, we're closing this week, and we're doing a 1031 exchange and exchanging the condo triple net lease.
And this is part of your own portfolio or for a client?
For a client, but it's cool because he's a pretty big client of mine. And finally, after 2 years of helping him, he finally set up a meeting with me and his asset managers. So now I finally get to see how they think. They were shooting everything down, and he was just playing messenger. And then I just said, hey, I think it would facilitate things if just to be more efficient, given that the time's going to start ticking on that 45 days to locate the placement property, for the four of us to just sit down and strategize together. He liked the idea, and it's been working out really well because now we have a call every other day with the asset managers. So I think that just opens up more doors, even as far as his investment portfolio and just the way they think and their clients.
That's awesome, man. Something I would like as that relationship grows, something I would, suggest is that he start to include you in other advisory conversations. So because you represent what percentage of the portfolio, his portfolio is real estate?
Massive. I don't even know at the moment. I just know
You think it's more than half of his net worth? If you're the team member, the real estate team member, like see if you can get to a point where, and then he'll start to view you as a core advisor, a member of his advisory team. But that's not the outcome you're really looking for. What you're looking for is to be privy to those other conversations, his other challenges, such as his tax situation. So it'll show you what you need to go look for, even when his mind is so busy dealing with everything involved and what he already owns. He's probably missing things. He has blind spots that he doesn't even know about. And you, in a more controlled environment where you've got more time to think about it, the better you can understand his comprehensive portfolio, then the better you can find assets that fit and complement that, or find assets that are problematic and need sold, so he can replace those if he can diversify or replace them with better real estate holdings. So that's what I would say. Good job on that. You've earned your way into his circle of trust. But that would be like for you, I think that's the next good goal is to be in the meetings with his CPA, with his real estate attorney. Have some of those conversations. That'll give you a little more clarity on what you need to find for him and what you need to get rid of for him.
Yeah, it took 2 years to get to this point. I'm happy, he literally drove me nuts, but it is what it is. And
Don't take it lightly, man. I mean, like guys like that have a lot to protect, right? Like it's a big deal when a guy says, all right, come on in.
yeah, no, it was great. And he made me a really cool offer. I can't take him up on it yet, but he said two things. He said, look, if you ever want to come in on the deal, let me know. I'll happily let you in if you want to put whatever amount you want to do, and then we'll figure out something. Then part two, he said, I would like you to overlook all of my investments here in LA. Now he has other ones in other states, but he said at least for here, I don't know. I thought that was cool because at least it shows that he's starting to finally see that I have his best interest in mind. And it was just nice to see that he's trusting me more.
He sees that you're not just a realtor, right?
Yeah, finally, yeah, right.
Well, that's awesome, Fed. Thanks for sharing that. Hey, Renee, where have you been all of my life? Like I haven't seen you in a month. She's on the phone. Sorry. I saw Renee come in. We haven't seen her in quite a while.
No, I'm here. I'm here. It's just somebody just quick called me. I know. No, I've been here, not the whole time, but it's good to be back. And I was just going to share a win. I have, two probates that just the win, excuse me, for the group is Hollywood Renee. Somebody remembered.
You have a reputation.
That's funny. Yes. So one I have that is a win just based on persistency and are very persistent. And another one's from a building that's a really cool historic building here in Los Angeles in the Koreatown area that I've sold for the project properties in. And now this one happens to be a probate. But what's really great is it came to me from a lady that I keep in contact with who's in an independent living, who moved from that condo in independent living. And she rang me up and said, "Oh, this one's coming up for sale." Did not know that it was a probate until a neighbor said something. The county was about to take over this property. The brother is the only living heir. He's Canadian, lives in Canada, and literally drove down here from Canada because someone at the LA courts told him he needed to physically be here, which is ridiculous. He's 80 years old. He drove down here with his wife. Long story longer is that I got the right probate lawyer here. If anybody else lives in LA, who has a fantastic bedside manner. She doesn't have a whole big staff. She's pretty hands-on, and that's who needed this attention.
Mhm.
And kind of yay for me, yay for her. We really, I believe, single-handedly, I was able to listen what he needed from what I've learned in this course, because I could hear that I think the county was going to take it over. And if we didn't interject immediately, that's what was going to happen. They had already gone to the property and got in and moved stuff and moved a car and all this. And I don't think he would have gotten his inheritance. And he's due to at least have about $700,000 out of this condo. It's a lot of money.
So they were making that move because property taxes weren't paid, or because probate was never closed and they were just taking it into their own, or probate was never open?
Probate was never open, but was weird is I think just because he's elderly, he's not an unintelligent person, but he's from a small town in Canada. It's like they don't really get LA. LA is like you're a number. This is not good. Sometimes you say, "Oh, go to the county courthouse and see what candies are in the jar." No, that's not LA. Like they don't care. So I think he was having that small town mentality in a big pool, and they just didn't care. It was 6 months ago. It was still COVID-ish in LA. We're the last ones to have opened pretty much. And I don't know how to answer your question. I just think nobody cared. And he was just a number and he didn't have anything with him that he needed.
But what I was trying to get at is
Yeah.
just for a learning moment for everybody else.
Okay.
Legally, the county can't just steal property. So either property taxes weren't being paid or the estate was outstanding for so long, they made that move. Which was it?
I don't think there's any liens on anything. I think they were just going to try to take it over like they didn't know there was any family member. Like
Right.
they just,
So
they didn't
that's
try.
what I was getting at. So the death occurred so long ago that the county's aware of that. Probate was never filed. They were going to
Yeah.
take it by state succession law. It was going into the
Right.
general fund with a redemption period. So
But they were
even if
pretty
the
quick on
property,
it.
even if the property had been sold, he still has a redemption period. If he would have found out about it after it was sold, it's really great that it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
But sometimes that does happen. Heirs who don't know they're heirs find out that they were heirs, and sometimes it's too late. Each state has different laws, but I think it's 2 years in most states where you have a redemption period if you found
Okay.
out the asset was sold. If you come in after that, it's too bad. It went to the state, and that does
Yeah.
sometimes happen. There's actually a property right across from where I'm at. It's not really usable land. It's so steep. But within a few hundred yards of me, there's an example of how that happened here in West Virginia.
Anyway, it's just nice to, yes, to all of that, the legal side. It's just nice to know when you can help people, especially elderly people who just don't get it. And when you live in a big town, man, you really become a number. He did not have to physically drive down here. So anyway,
Yeah.
we're going to put that on the market. It's going to happen and everybody's happy, and just keep going, you guys. We do fight the good fight. Even sometimes on your cold calls, it doesn't feel like that.
So I want to shine a light on something that I think even you might be overlooking that's really valuable. Like when you first got started, because LA was such a competitive market, and we had several conversations about how direct mail was just, you felt like you were spinning your wheels, send the mail, get nothing, send the mail, get nothing.
Yeah.
But one thing you did is you focused on the other aspect of what we teach is building your referral network. Not only did you focus on it, you actually chose the attorney based on their personality profile relative to your client, which means you have options, right? You have a number of attorneys to choose from. And I think it's important that everybody else pay attention to that. Like Renee did the work last year or was it the year before that?
I think it's the year before. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 years, and in 2 years, she's been continuing to add referral partners to her referral network. And how long has it been since you gave that particular attorney a referral? Like, when was her last at bat with you?
That was that one. She's new, actually. I asked my title rep, and the title rep's niche is probate. So I asked him who has a better bedside manner, who has like a hands-on bedside manner. And he gave me 2 people, and then she's this one.
Okay. So this one, you just added her to your network and immediately gave
Yeah.
her a ready referral.
Yeah. I knew that would be a good fit for this one. And it is.
So the point of what I wanted to show, Renee's been at this for going on 3 years now. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah.
And she's still building her referral network. But if somebody's not in there, if she feels like she doesn't have the right player on the team, she went and found them. She went and found somebody with appropriate bedside manner for an elderly international citizen who's just thinking, what the hell is going on down here in LA?
Yeah.
So-
I know he was really sweet about it. And lastly, I'll say, because I know you guys have a lot of stuff to talk about today, is that, look, I'm just doing my job, but it's always nice to hear. Here, he is a small town guy, like I think there's 20,000 people that live in his town in Canada. And it's like LA is overwhelming, even though his sister lived down here for 40 years and he had come down here. And he just really fought for me. You know, he said, I just keep getting mailers and calls, and it's like us on the other side of it, right? Keeps calling him. But he really went at bat for me. He's like, I want Renee to get this listing, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's beautiful. It really is like validating that you are putting the right people in the right position, not just closing a probate. And I know that, but it's really beautiful when you hear it back from the client that they know that they're cared for. And that's this niche. I think this and probably like pre-probate, if you really do it right, can be that. People really have a need and they are getting pinged. I mean, everybody's getting called 15 different ways. Come at it with that empathy. That's what attracted me to you originally. And that's actually my only unique selling proposition. I do the same thing everybody else does practically, but the empathy has helped me tremendously in being on the phone, especially. So thanks for letting me share.
Awesome. I do want to issue a challenge to you too. It's for your own benefit, but I really think this is a good story to document. And you can do it in like a little mini documentary, or you just do it as a testimonial. But I would recommend a professional videographer. And you and this gentleman, is he coming down for closing? Will you be face to face with him?
I don't know. I can ask him. Probably not, but I'll see if I can get him on a Zoom. Yeah.
If not, try to get him on Zoom. Like, you guys, like, get even if it's long form, like, be real, record this story and then get an editor to turn that into,
Okay.
a testimonial video that you can use in your community Facebook group, on your web page. You can even throw a dedicated URL up to it and just redirect that to the web page. And then on your next mailing campaign, or when you're leaving a voicemail, it's like, hey, if you want to see the community impact we've had, go to laprobatestory.com. And laprobatestory.com will redirect to renee.com/testimonial. It's like $10 a year to have that up, but it could be a hell of a PS line in your letter. It could be on everything you do, but don't let this one slip by. Like, this is a powerful story where you really took control of a situation that could have been really detrimental to the family. And you've taken control of that, put the right people in the right places, and provided a level of service that very few people can. So don't let that go unrecorded and celebrated. Like, get it out there.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. And quickly too, I am looking for somebody like a video editor. So hopefully this is for other people. I need somebody local. I know I could just put things out. Do you have a better shortcut to try to get some quality versus trying to go through a bunch of people?
Nobody knows how to edit video in Los Angeles, especially in Hollywood.
No, but it's quite pricey. That's the other part of it. I'm looking for that. Yeah. USC students. Maybe that's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to recommend. So, like, when people in Florida, I'm like, go to Full Sail University, grab yourself an intern. That's what I would recommend. You've got film schools right there around you. They have to find work to do as part of their curriculum, and they also have side gigs. So I would pull from your local talent right there.
Yeah. That just reminded me of another one that's here. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Great share, Renee.
Renee, I have someone for you for videos. Just give me a call or text.
Wait.
Awesome. All right. What's next?
Hey, I'm still getting caught up on this. I don't know why I'm getting so caught up on this, but if somebody was to ask me, like, if this service costs something, well, how would I respond to that?
For me, it's just like, well, listen, Ryan, I can understand it. It sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? But I will tell you, there's not a single thing that we will discuss or we will do for you where we get paid before we do exactly what we promise. So the risk is all on me. All I need from you, the only risk I need you to take is to trust me long enough to understand what I'm offering. And then from that point forward, I will assume all of the risk until the job is done to your satisfaction. And I either did what I promised and I get paid for some services, some there is no monetization, or I don't get paid and you fire me. So are you okay with taking a little bit of risk to get to know me better and what I can offer? And then letting me take all of the other risk until this is done and your outcome has been achieved? How's Friday at 1, or would 2:30 work better? And just go for it. Because I mean, honestly, we're not asking for upfront charges. And that's why when we had that discussion, I think it's been 2 weeks ago, about ways we can monetize the network and the service, I want that to be a selling point. Listen, you have zero risk. My business is taking all the risk. We take on the expense, we manage the people, we're doing everything. And we never want to put you in a position where you have to advance yet another payment or manage yet another process. You're in the thick of this as the representative. We're going to take that burden on, but when we're finished, we do expect to be compensated for that. And I think you can agree that's fair and get the affirmation.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's super helpful. I think that helps me wrap my head around this a little bit more. I actually had my second attorney meeting today, trying to build out the referral network, and it went really well. I pitched them on that and the idea of the referral hub, and they thought that was a really good idea.
So you're still the new guy, brand new to this, brand new to real estate, brand new to probate, and you're boldly walking into attorneys' offices and having successful meetings and creating relationships.
Yeah, I mean, he was ecstatic. That guy was ecstatic. He was like, I can't believe I've never heard of this before. So it works.
I've heard it from thousands of counties all over the country. So for anyone on this call who's sitting there letting fear manage you, and you haven't done this, you haven't gotten in the car, you haven't walked into an attorney's office and told them what your offer is and ask them, can I give you this value? There's ideas we discuss. You can always find that. And if you search attorney on probatemastery.com, you'll hear hours of that conversation. But if you're not doing it, this is the result you're going to get. That little voice in your head saying, I have no credibility. The attorneys will chew me up. Like Ryan was, if anyone could have that limiting belief or justify that limited belief, it's him, because he is as green as they come. But he got the same result that our, seasoned veterans get. You walk in, you make an offer of value, you walk out with a relationship that lasts the rest of your career. So good on you, Ryan. And thanks for trusting me and our community to walk you into that. I'm glad you got the validation we wanted you to get.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep. Terry said, could you recap offer of value? Is that specifically to the attorney, Terry? Yeah. So the two most common ways that we actually offer value to attorneys when it's a cold introduction. One is so Terry, I don't know if you have a mic, you can shake your head yes or no. Do you have an estate plan in place? Do you have a living trust, Terry? Okay. So if you don't have a living trust, you are the referral. I'm assuming as part of this community, your net worth is higher than 6 figures. If your net worth is higher than 6 figures, then you don't have a living trust. Your estate will likely be probated and your estate will lose 4 to 7% of its gross value. So you're a great first referral to create a relationship with an attorney. You can walk in and say, hey, I'm raising my standard of service this year in my real estate business. One of the things I'm really interested in doing is going back through all of my past clients and my sphere of influence and making sure that each and every person has an estate plan in place. But first, let's put first things first. I need a proper estate plan. I'm going to be helping more families and building wealth. I want to be a good example. So I'm looking for the right estate planning attorney to help set up my estate properly. And through that, as you work with them, you tell them a little bit more about and then you bring other referrals in if you can. If you already have a living trust and you have an estate plan and you don't need that, then look around in your sphere of influence. So your past clients, your family, your wealthy contacts, even on your vendor team, anyone who doesn't have an estate plan, you can do an email, a phone conversation, text, Facebook Messenger, Facebook video post, whatever. But just the people in your life that have, like I said, over 6-figure net worth, they need to not like they should understand that it's probate will cost them more than a trust ever will cost their estate more. So throw up a video and say, hey guys, listen, I've been going through some second quarter planning and I really want to provide a higher level of service to everybody in my life, especially in my business life. And one of the things that I've come up with for the second quarter is I would like to offer anyone in my network who doesn't have an estate plan, I want to pay for an hour of my attorney's time to sit down and walk you through the options available to you. For most people, that's probably going to be a living trust would be the instrument that makes the most sense, but it could be wills, advanced directives, different things. I don't want to know what your estate plan is. I just want to know that you're taken care of and you have one, because most of my friends and family do not. So if you'd like to have an hour with our attorney, please click below to jump on, fill out this form, jump on the calendar, send an email, whatever your call to action is. If you send that out to a few hundred people, you get a few dozen that say, oh, okay, yeah, that's something I've been procrastinating about. I probably should do that. If it's free, I'll take it. Then you have a dozen referrals. So you can go around town. You decide if you give those all to one person, one attorney, or if you break them up and create multiple relationships. That's the hard way. It's the most effective, but it's the one that's most intimidating for most people. A little bit of it easier to accomplish if you don't have those individuals who you can turn into A+ referrals to open a relationship. Then the next best thing you can do is find a way to help their small business with your small business. So estate planning attorneys and probate attorneys aren't allowed to directly solicit for business. So you can actually go in and offer to co-market and you pay for the marketing. My name is Chad. I've got a social enterprise here in the community that helps families with all the non-legal aspects of probate. And today I'm actually interviewing law firms to find the one that I feel like would be the best fit to include in my marketing as our preferred attorney for those that don't have legal representation. I noticed attorney Bill Jones has done 10 cases in the last month. Would Bill be available for a quick chat? The answer is almost always yes, and you'll be in the conference room for a couple of hours. But there's a couple of things you can do as far as the co-marketing piece. One of the things I like, because it makes this a learning experience, sit down and actually paper out each and every little aspect, no matter how tiny, of the probate process from the time or the estate settlement process. So the death occurs, everything that happens until the estate is closed and a distribution is made to the family. The legal aspect should be colored in, we'll choose a color, we'll say red. The non-legal aspect can be another color. If you want to say these are family responsibilities, these are court responsibilities, these are legal responsibilities, you could use multiple colors. The idea is to have the legal, like flag out the legal responsibilities. So for those people on your list that are pro se or pro per, which is usually about 20% of your list, you include this in the letter that you send out. And they see that as like, holy shit, I didn't know I had this much stuff to do. In that letter, you can explain what's in red is legal. And this is our preferred counsel. And you have the attorney's contact information at the bottom of that sheet. So any attorney who says no to that really doesn't understand business, because you're offering to not only circumvent a loophole to allow them to direct market through your small business, you're paying for it. It's value on top of value. You're using your small business to help them grow their small business. And if they say no, you were in the wrong damn office to begin with. Just go to another one. Don't look at it as a bad idea. If an attorney is too busy or too full of themselves to say no to that, just go find an attorney that does find the offer valuable. But there's obviously more ways to do it. Those are two ways that we've been able to replicate the result in almost every county in the United States, no matter how rural or how urban, that works. And I just now thought, I pointed you back to past calls. We have had a Phoenix, Arizona probate attorney, a Jacksonville, Florida probate attorney, and soon to publish, I think this coming week, a Miami probate attorney in the last bit. John Fraker is also a member of this community. I don't think John is here today. He and I have some stuff. So if you go to our YouTube channel and look for any of those, or go to our blog and search for attorney, you'll hear these discussions in long form with the probate attorneys. And this is with probate attorneys who are looking to scale their business, who are looking to work with CPEs around the country. So go watch those videos. It'll really give I'm sure you'll be able to generate some ideas on what your offer of value is when you walk through that firm door. Renee, I see your hand up.
Yeah, right when you were saying that, I'm wondering if the gal who I'm utilizing right now would be a good fit for your show. Are you guys interviewing?
I was going to suggest it. I didn't want to interrupt the story. I was going to reach out to you. I think it would be really cool for the three of us to actually tell your story in a business
Oh,
setting.
this is gonna be great.
Much different than the challenge I issued, and it doesn't
Right.
count. But let's, like, when you get that deal done, please, let's put that on the calendar and let's pull it apart and like put all the pieces on the table for everybody to see, and then talk about how you guys work collaboratively to
Okay.
serve an international client in a pretty contentious situation where the county was, in my opinion, overstepping. I mean,
Yeah.
that should be a really good look at what that good CPE attorney combo looks like.
Beautiful. And with that, like with double-edged sword for her in terms of bringing value to her as well, like anybody else on this call who's in the LA area that needs or wants a good attorney or likes her vibe, that would be to sell in here for her as well.
Yeah.
Or separately have an interview with her, like you and her.
No, I'm saying let's the
Just
three
that.
of us, she'll accomplish the same result.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, good.
And again, guys, you can always find this content if you go to probatemastery.com, click on the blog or the podcast, but it's probably easiest to go to the blog, and you can search attorney, or you can use the category attorney, and you can find hours and hours of these conversations. So if you're looking to focus on any specific aspect of what we talk about, chances are it's probably recorded and archived in long form. So don't forget, you can always go there and actually search for content.
But I have actually another quick question. So when I was talking to the attorney today, I basically said, like, I was thinking about recommending to people that they might think about setting up a trust or something.
Mhm.
He said that the minimum price for that would be like around $10,000. Does that sound accurate to you? That seems kind of...
It varies. I mean, it can be as little as, I've seen it as little as like $1,500 in Virginia, and as high as $150,000. It really depends on the level of the attorney, like how bad he's looking to grow a business, or how tight of a filter he's trying to apply to his client base. Like when you get into international asset protection trust, even domestic asset protection trust, they're going to drag you up into the $50,000 and $60,000 range. But just a basic, living trust, whether revocable or irrevocable, you're starting at $1,500. I would say an average would probably be $2,500. But if you look at it, you figure 10 grand seems really expensive until you actually go through the accounting of probate and see that it takes 4 to 7% of the gross estate value. And hey, Mr. Friend or past client, do you have a retirement account? Do you have a 401k or an IRA? Oh, why don't we borrow the money from there, pay for the 10 grand with a future payment? You don't ever have to pay yourself back. We'll give you a 0 interest loan and just never pay it back. You've already got the 10 grand, then you don't have to take it out of your taxable accounts. So take the objection off the table. If it does cost more in your area and you get a price objection from your clients, just defeat their objection, tap into their retirement account, have them loan it to themselves. That's the retirement account is for the long-term benefit, right? So how the hell are they going to argue with you? Like, it's like, well, this is for the long-term benefit of your estate, just like the retirement account, but we can use the retirement account to not cut into your available dollars now, and you can charge yourself 0% interest. Why would we not do that to take care of your family?
So I think I wasn't like completely following his argument, but he was making the argument saying that probate could be a better solution in some scenarios. I think he was specifically talking about like when it goes over $1 million here in Massachusetts, there's like some really high tax that's involved that kind of only comes into play when there's like a trust. I wasn't completely following when he was talking about this, but does that sound like anything you've heard of?
At a federal level, it's when you exceed $12 million, your estate begins to get taxed. You guys may have a state law. I'm actually not familiar with that, but you should absolutely go down that rabbit hole and learn all of the details, because until you understand it, you won't see the opportunity. So that opportunity could be leading people toward setting up their estate plan. Doesn't necessarily have to be a living trust. If there's something that penalizes living trusts for holding assets, then we just set them up with transfer on death clauses for each of the assets in the estate. We title the vehicles with the kids' names on them. We put the kids on the bank accounts. We put the kids on the real estate, or we start to hold everything in different ways. I have a hard time accepting that a state actually has been able to gain the authority to penalize a trust after death. Like if it's over 12 million, it's happening at the federal level, but I've never heard of a state doing that. So I'd challenge you to dig into it, learn everything you can. There's an opportunity in there somewhere.
Okay. I'll look into it more. Appreciate it.
Yep. And if that's the case, if that's really what's happening and you intend to work with high net worth clients, then I would push them towards International Asset Protection Trust or Bridge Trust. So it's about anywhere between 30 and, for most people, 30 and $60,000 to set up those more advanced. And that's the same thing politicians and billionaires are using. But drive their assets offshore, and the hell with Connecticut. They don't own anything. Like, if the state actually is doing, that's BS. You have the highest property taxes in the country already.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yep. Good question. Whoa, lots of chat I missed. So Corey actually paid, I think he meant 6,000, not $6. If you get it, Corey got one for $6 in Seattle. Now I think it was $6,000 for him to structure his. Brenda paid $4,000 in Kansas City. Thank you guys for that. That's awesome. The bridge trust structure that I chose is $30,000, but that includes an Arizona limited partnership, an international asset protection trust, the connection between them, all the attorney's fees, lifetime retainers, all that stuff. Joanne got by in Los Angeles for $2,500, which is pretty typical. So you guys can see the price varies, and it varies based on region, based on attorney, based on the complexity of your estate, how many assets you own, what the value of those assets are. Don't ever hesitate to negotiate with an attorney either. They're a small business owner. I mean, what do you think their cost of their, COGS, their cost of goods sold? They're using the same thing we are. Like, their value is what's between their ears. So they can they have costs, they have office staff, everything else, but it doesn't mean they can't cut you a break. So if you're sending them like a lot of referrals, for example, Ryan, if he's at 10 grand, just be like, all right, what if I walk in here with 5 referrals? Then what's the average cost for those 5 people? And see if you can get a volume discount, or just say, I've spoken to this attorney and he's at this much. Tell me, don't say, will you match that? Be like, I've talked to another very prominent attorney who seems to have a great reputation, and they quoted me 7,000. What do you think? Like, how do you think they can do it for 7? What extra value do you guys provide? So I'm not attacking his price. I'm saying, give me your value statement. And that could set the stage for a price reduction negotiation. And Winston got his done in Orange County, California for $3,000. And that's it's a mixed net worth market, but relatively high net worth. All right. Anybody else? Anything else? Are we ready to wrap up? Go back to Candy Crush? Yes.
Yeah, I got a question for you. I'm still working on probate. We talked about negotiating the price and everything. And I'm wondering about now, because this lady is a sole heir, if I might offer her like a financing type aspect to prevent her from getting all the money at one time. And show excessive income for that 1 year. She's on Social Security.
She can benefit from the step-up basis. The current government has proposed that be taken away, but right now it hasn't been, so it won't be a taxable event.
Okay.
So if it's in California, that's what state are you in, Roger? Yeah, the step-up basis is still there. So the day that she inherits it, it'll have a new basis. Now, any gains in the asset prices from that day forward will have tax consequences. But the inheritance, as long as it's under $12 million, step-up basis will protect her.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep. Yeah.
This is Deborah Wilson, and the first time I came was last week. Yeah, I haven't been able to come to any of the Zoom meetings here because I volunteer at the school from October until March. So now I can listen and get all the information. I haven't done anything with probate yet. I haven't made any calls. I'm still getting my confidence and getting some knowledge so that when I do pay for the leads, I'll be able to help the people.
Yeah. How can we help? How can we help with your confidence? Or are you just introducing yourself?
Well, I've been looking through all of your videos and I am in probate mastery. Yeah, I do have the certification, so I'm learning.
So I'm curious, what do you do when you volunteer at school that's a pretty big commitment?
Yeah, well, it's child evangelism. We teach Bible stories and stuff like that and work with the kids. We had 70 kids. We've never had that many children. So that was a big commitment. And we do that every year. The school asked us to come.
How many years have you been doing it?
4 years.
That's right. That's commitment. So you'll do just fine. You've got the benevolence that's required to do really well in this niche, and you stuck with something that it doesn't pay you. I'm sure it benefits your heart, but you have a sustainable career here for sure.
Thank you.
So just thanks for speaking up and introducing yourself. Please don't ever hold back. Stand up and say, hey, here's what I need from you guys. That's what we're here for.
No, you'll be sick of me after a while, believe me. Okay.
Oh, hell. Renee's 3 years in. And I haven't kicked her out yet.
Oh my goodness.
And my tick hasn't gone away yet. I just hide it easily.
All right. Donna, how are you?
I just have been busy. So I am, as you may remember, we're not transitioning, but I'm doing my real estate and I'm trying to be an investor now, or I'm working on being an investor. I done 2 transactions. They were both probate. I did pretty well on the 2 we
Did you
did.
report-
Not the 2 late. We actually fired the 1 lady, and my best friend and I are definitely, we just got the actual partnership done. Finally, it's been a whirlwind, but we just got it done today, the final thing today. But she's my best friend out of California. She can't really invest there. So she wants me, and I'm doing majority of the work, as we know. But anyway, she's a really good sounding board. She's learning the ropes with the comps and things like that. And we're getting ready to go to the Women's Real Estate Investment Network, first ever event in Dallas, the end of April. So we're excited about that. But I have a transaction right now.
All you single guys, be sure and grab your tickets.
I have a transaction right now, possible transaction was referred by my attorney, one of the attorneys I work with. I thought it was going to be a slam dunk, but I offered both the options, retail or we can purchase it. It's in a very good neighborhood in Arizona. It's in an area called Arcadia. So it's really good. It's very solid. It's next door to a $1.2 million property. It's only a 1,300 square foot house. We think we would like to actually keep it, and we haven't done anything like that yet, but I have a private lender who's willing to go in with us. It has a second building on it. It's a 1/4 acre and it's long and narrow. Has literally a humongous yard in between the 2 buildings, that the house and this big, it's basically a garage that has its own access from the alley, which I'm thinking could be another living space because that area is conducive to guest houses. So I'm trying to figure out, so she's got another offer. Okay. Now I offered her both. I looked at the options. She's in a court hearing right now, the next 2 days for getting guardianship on her adult handicapped niece because both parents passed. So that's who passed, was her brother. Anyway, these even outbid us again. So that's where I always am losing, is they're always kind of coming in with more. And I don't know if this is open door or who it is, because they're the ones that usually come in and do that. And then they charge all these fees, but they don't know that, or they reduce them later on. So I'm just trying to figure out a way. Really would like to get this. We could certainly still wholesale it. I've actually checked for 2 wholesale buyers. I think they're both interested. So we can make a good penny on this if we actually just even wholesale it. But I almost want to keep it and rent it. It's such a great neighborhood.
I want to be clear. You have not made an offer?
I did. We made an offer.
You did.
630 last night, and the comp ranged from 585 to 800 and something. Now the 800 something is more done over. This is absolutely livable if we just cleaned it up. It's completely livable. The kitchen was built in the 50s, but the kitchen was redone, and the flooring's decent. It's not current style, but it's decent. If we just painted and fixed a broken window in the front yard and spruced up the yard, we could rent it almost as is.
Do you have a direct relationship with the seller? Are you in direct contact?
Yeah. So I met with her in person and we had a really good rapport, and she really wanted to just be done with, but you still get these other offers and they're higher, and people, even if you have a rapport there, it's about the money. And also the court.
Take her along for the ride, like offer her future equity, not today's equity. So get in at the buy price you want to get in at, and then cut her in on the back end as a limited partner on the deal. Do a JV or an LP agreement, and make her set up a new LLC with your LLC as the general partner and her as the limited partner. So she has no voting rights, no control. The asset closes, you get it at the price you want it. And the incentive for her is she gets a percentage on the back end. She gets a percentage of net profit as an LP. And even if you hold it, even if you decide to hold it and rent it, if you wholesale it, she gets a percentage of profit. If you hold and rent, she gets a percentage of the profit. If you flip it, she gets a percentage of profit. So she wins either way, and you get what you want.
How do you think the court's going to see that though? Because the money, it's for the guardianship of this niece, which she's in a group home here. She doesn't speak, and she doesn't, right. Yeah.
The only heir is going to be standing in a courtroom saying, "This is what's best for my family and my situation. Please approve this." Like, she's your advocate in the court.
Okay, because she just said that she felt like they wanted to have the highest possible, but she wants to be done with it. So she liked the idea of us taking it as is and with all the stuff still in it. She tried to do yard sales herself, so she doesn't want to do an estate sale. So she's just done. She lives in like Wisconsin or somewhere. She doesn't live.
Well,
But
ask her if she wants to have some
Okay.
cheese together over Zoom. Be like, hey, you want to have a cheese night? But get like face to face, like have a direct conversation and say, listen, I just thought of something, and one of the groups that I'm in where we actually help each other really find the best solutions for families and present it that way. Because that's really what we're ultimately here doing. We're making money in the end, but we have to
Right.
find a solution for the family first. So
Right.
say, listen, I consulted my peers from all over the country. And one person had a great idea, and like he is the coolest guy in the country. But no, just pitch it that way. And I went and consulted with my peers, and somebody put a really fantastic idea out there that I think is actually most beneficial to you. So I'm aware that you have other offers. I don't necessarily want to repeal my offer yet, but I do want to discuss a different variation. And bear with me that we won't worry about the legalities. This will all be done by an attorney. Let's just focus on the agreement between you and I. If I do all of work and I take all of the risk and you make the difference between what I would like to buy this house for today and what I sell it for tomorrow, and I can show you how that makes your family more money. And as the guardian, you're in a better financial position, but you don't have to lift a finger. Is that something we can talk about tonight?
Okay. Because I did come up, it's interesting you say that because I did tell her another scenario besides retelling it was she could carry us and we would pay her monthly and then she wouldn't have tax ramifications and she would give her money to be able to sustain the niece and all that kind of stuff as well. So I did go a little bit that route, but that's a good idea. Okay.
What was her reaction to that, to the owner financing?
She didn't really react.
That's a great solution because you are appealing to, so the lender's losing.
They do have a small mortgage on it, but I think it's only about 150,000.
But the mortgagor is dead, right?
Right.
So it's going to have to be probate. That won't survive probate.
Right.
You can take it sub 2, but you have to get it refinanced before that.
Right.
If the lender
I
would find out.
Yeah, because it's already been, noted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that could be done. They could quit claim the asset into a fresh LLC, subject to the existing lien staying in place. You are the GP on that LLC. They are an LP on that LLC. You finish the deal. You either get it rehabbed and get a tenant in place and then refinance through a DSCR loan, like a community bank loan, or you flip it, or you decide that you can wholesale it.
Okay.
Either way,
We're going to
and-
make a decision on where we think the best spread is, right? And where she's just going to be a part, like that's what you're saying. She doesn't get to make the decision on which way we're going to go. She just gets to make the decision on she's going to do it and she gets to share in the profit.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
So you need to know what your bottom, like what is the price you really want to buy that house at? Not even, and maybe it's maybe it's the offer you've already made. That would be.
No, I wanted to buy it for 500, but it does need some TLC for sure. You know what I mean? It's not like but it isn't bad enough that you couldn't just live in it. And my thought is that there's electrical panel on that back building, which is it's probably 1,000 square feet. It's a good sized room.
Have you talked to
Oh.
the code department about the accessory dwelling unit and how
No,
hard
I
that?
haven't, but I know the area willing to know that they do have guest homes in that area, but they might be grandfathered in. So I have to just talk.
Okay, so call code enforcement today and ask them, or look up the ADU clause in your code and determine whether or not that's feasible to turn that into an accessory dwelling unit. If it's not, then look at using up that space between the house and that structure. Like look at estimating cost to actually expand the house back.
Well, that's the other thing. It's because of the size of the house and the other two people I've talked to, the size of the area. There are people literally infilling that area. So they'll bulldoze, they want that area. So they'll
Mhm.
bulldoze the existing house and build. And that's one kitty corner from it is doing that right now. The one next door that was 1.2 million. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you, Donna.
You too.
Dave Gwynn, how are you, bud?
Hey, doing great, man. How you doing?
You gonna drive down to Phoenix and JV on that deal with Donna?
Might have to. Looks like so.
Donna's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I got a good combo deal I wanted to throw out there and get your thoughts on. I may have talked on it here before, I don't know, but the guy passed away like 2 years ago. His niece is the one who I found through extensive almost private eye level skip tracing, and got in touch with her. And apparently, long story short, the deceased had a daughter who passed away also, but had 2 kids supposedly who they didn't have a relationship with anybody. So they have no idea. And the niece, who I've been in touch with, has never even talked to the kids or met them. And so she was the POA for the deceased prior to his death, as he was nearing death and going through all the different things at that time. She was there to help. She went in, cleaned out the house, got all the stuff out of there and sealed up. He also had a condo that she's been help managing and keeping in kind of an estate type account that's rented out here in the area as well. And the house is vacant. It's going to crap and code violations, tax liens. She says she's paying the taxes, but there seems to be a couple out there that might not be fully paid, but we're working through that. Essentially a no will. She said she saw a will. However, there's no will, but she said it was all supposed to go to her. So 2 grandkids supposedly that aren't stepping forward. She doesn't know how to get a hold of them. And I'm trying to figure out a way how. I'm afraid if I tell her to open probate and she brings those grandkids forward, she's going to lose all of her interest and all the time and money that she spent in bringing the house, working on the affairs of the estate, spending money on things like tax code violations, upkeep of the house.
Yep. It's good of you to be concerned for her, but you shouldn't be. So she has the right, as long as she's even just general member of the public. If she was doing that, she still has the right to submit that claim to the estate as a creditor. So the hourly dollar value of her time, the money that she's actually contributed, all of that should be accounted for and submitted in the open to creditors period as soon as the petitioner, as soon as the estate is officially open. So don't worry about that. She'll be reimbursed for everything, whether it's through cash from the sale of the asset or through getting the whole asset, she will be reimbursed. Now, the biggest thing to worry about is if she saw a will, where did she see it? And where did that will come from? Where did it go? Can it be produced? Has she been to the courthouse? Has she talked to the clerk? Like, let's first try to find that. Your concern is valid, not so much because she's not going to get paid back, but because if she really is supposed to be the sole heir and the grandchildren are supposed to get $1, let's try to find proof of that before we send up a signal flare and tell everybody else that probate's happening. So let's do some legwork at the courthouse, talk to them, talk to her about what attorney he might have known or who might have referred him to the attorney. See if we can find out who that attorney would have been. Wills aren't always recorded. It's a good idea to record them for reasons like this, but a lot of people don't. So let's do some work on that and see if we can find that will first. A lot of times people say this and they're like, oh no, there's a will. Grandpa told me there was. And Grandpa told them that, and it was his intention, but he didn't actually do it properly. So in the eyes of the law, it didn't exist. And that's what the probate process is really about, is identifying, validating, and executing on a will, or in lieu of that, following state succession law to accomplish the same. So that's what I would do first before you petition for probate. Do as much due diligence, do as much, searching as you can for the will. Give it a week or so. If you can't come up with it, turning over the stones we talked about, then go ahead, petition probate. Be there the day that she gets the letters testamentary. Go to a purchase agreement to protect your interest. And then it's on the attorney and the title company to go hunt down the daughters and find and get them to come sign in order to close the deal. But make sure, so petition, letters of testamentary, contract with Eagle Mountain Properties, like secure your position in this, because you're gonna push her to open probate. That's gonna send up a signal flare, and anyone who has access to the list, you're in a beneficial market. In this scenario, this is beneficial to you because unless that person is paying $5 for record access, they're not going to know that probate was filed until it's closed, because it's Colorado. Or I didn't ask, is this one in Florida or Colorado?
Colorado here. Yeah.
Yeah. So that gives you a little bit of a buffer, some protection against too many people interfering with your deal.
Okay. And then that ultimately she could sign and then keep it open and work out who the heirs are downstream, essentially.
You're protected, and she's subject to state succession law either way. If you can't come up with a will, she can't change the outcome because it's
Right.
state law from that point. But
So
you can coach her through it and at least protect your position with a purchase agreement.
Yeah, and it was great because Eric reminded me of this, that I used it as a lead in to connecting with an attorney here in town who I actually went and saw over a year ago, dropped off my pamphlet and card and never really connected with him. I tried, but I called up, left a curious, quick, short voicemail, and he wound up calling me back. And we had a conversation about a potential client situation and how we could do some business together. So I've got a meeting with him next week for coffee early in the morning. So it's easier than you think.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that, Dave. Hope you can get that one worked out. Terry says, looks to me like this group would have some knowledgeable JV participants. Damn right. There's a high bar here. No, like I encourage you guys to. I was joking about Dave and Donna just to see if I can get a rise out of Donna. If you guys are in the same market, absolutely. Like we're all operating off the same value system and the same knowledge and processes here. So I think you should be JVing with each other. One of the things we're working on in the background is actually a CPE directory where you guys will be able to go in, fill out your profile, and have full access to each other. It's something we wanted to do for a long time, but limited time, limited. It's just, there's more ideas than there are hours in the day. So, but that is something that's on our plate right now. All right, guys. Well, we're at the top, past the top of the hour. I don't see anything else in the queue, so I'm going to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh, Winston, you got a hand up just in time.
Yeah, exactly. You got me thinking about partnering and joint venturing. What was the name of that bank that you use for your HELOCs? I know it was a pretty good bank and a pretty good LTV.
I use First Citizens Bank, and if you have over a 770 credit score, they will do an 89.9% LTV HELOC at prime plus 1.25.
Okay. Are they, with a good FICO score, are they heavy into your income verification and tax returns and profit and losses and all that?
No, that's why I love HELOCs. There's not even a loan application. They do a desktop appraisal. If the desktop appraisal comes back less than what you're asking to borrow, then they'll actually do a full interior appraisal. Once that comes back, they'll close it and they'll give you up to 90% of that appraised value.
Awesome. Thank you. I hope they're in Southern California.
I'm not sure if they just bought CIT Bank. So like they were a $24 billion bank and they bought like an $85 billion bank. So I don't know where they're at in the merger, but the deal closed. I'm not sure if they've offered the same if they've offered all First Citizens products across all CIT banks, but they are expanding quickly. All right, Jeff Luna, how can we help you?
Hey, Chad, good afternoon. That link that you were talking about earlier, where you recommend them to go to the link and then it gets / to you. What was that again? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I just arbitrarily made one up. Yeah. No, I just pull stuff out of there. The point was the structure there is build a page on your website.
Right.
Go buy a custom URL. I think I used laprobatestory.com. So you would go to GoDaddy, buy laprobatestory.com for $10. Then you go into your domain settings in GoDaddy and create a forward for the domain.
Gotcha.
And then you just go to the new the new jeffluna.com /testimonial, grab that URL, take it over to GoDaddy, drop it into the domain settings and create the forward. And usually it takes their servers propagate within minutes, like within a few minutes, you can actually send traffic to that domain and they'll actually land on your / page. It's just a way around getting someone to type in jeffluna.com /testimonial. There's too many chances to misspell words so it's LA Probate Story. Pretty much anyone can remember and get that one typed in without misspelling.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. So have fun picking your domain. I have a bad habit. Some people have gambling habits. I have domain buying habits. I think I've bought a half a dozen in the last week or so. All right, guys. Always a fun conversation here. Thanks for all the engagement, all the contributions. Renee, good to see you back. Donna, good to see you back. Some faces from the past here. You guys come back, hang out more often. You got success stories. Joyce has been here forever too. So, all right, guys. Well, have a good week out there and we'll talk to you soon.